I would like to welcome you all for the webinar. Today we're going to talk about cloud computing. So this session is mainly intended for someone who is new to cloud computing and would like to understand what it is all about, and someone who is already working on this concept and would like more like a refresher. So we'll be talking more about how the basics of cloud computing works and what are the advantages of it and how you can leverage it in your day-to-day activity in your company. Let's move forward. So before I move ahead and talk anything further, a little bit about myself. So I work as a QA and a performance architect in an MNC company. I have about 15 years of IT experience. When it comes to cloud, I've been using cloud in my projects from a couple of years, and recently got certified on Microsoft Azure fundamentals. And you might have seen that software technology trends is something this webinar is hosted from. So I created this for the sole purpose of collaborating so that everyone who is interested in the technology can exchange ideas and we can conduct some technical webinars on the same. I would request you to go ahead and join the community. We are almost 370 people strong and we are growing as we go. That's being said, I think we can move ahead with the first slider. So let's just talk about what we are going to focus on today. So in the agenda, we have a couple of slides I'm going to cover, and we're going to start with what the cloud computing is all about, and moving on to talking about the benefits of it and the type of cloud computing types we have and the services which is being provided. And I will also touch upon who are all the top cloud service providers, and we're going to do some comparison. And at the end, I would also show you how the Azure cloud platform looks like so that you get the end-to-end idea about how it is. Okay, so first let's just understand why do we need cloud or what cloud it is all about. As you might have seen, be it in any of your company infrastructure or be it you owning your own laptop, what happens is you invest a lot of money upfront. That is called as a capital expenditure. When you have your own system or your company have its own infrastructure, there is a lot more goes into just having the software licenses. Like beyond beneath the iceberg, you will always have a hardware or a maintenance or a training for that personnel, and you have to do some customization. So pretty much end to end, everything falls on your lap. The cost, ongoing cost, not only acquiring the hardware infrastructure, it will also be additional when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to handling the downtime, performance tuning it. And also if you think about if you have to increase the hardware or capacity of any infrastructure, then that's a huge hassle. It usually goes to a couple of level of approvals. It goes to a couple of days. So in current age and world, we do not have that much time. So we really have to look for alternative solutions. So that is where the cloud came into picture. So what really happening is there is a cloud provider where all of your required infrastructure and maintenance and be it any customization is being handled by someone else, so that you can solely focus on the actual product, developing it, maintaining it, and testing and deploying it to your end users. So that will take out a huge chunk of work from your company, your IT management. So that way you will be more focused on delivering the product which is actually makes sense than spending more time on fixing stuff. So that's being said, you're not doing any upfront cost. So there is definitely a subscription fee. So there you have a monthly or a pay as you go fee. So that is what you will actually pay. So we'll talk a little bit more on what exactly these statistics are and how we can benefit from it. But just to highlight, this is what the cloud is all about. If you want to look into more a traditional or specific definition, the technical definition sounds more like it's more of delivering your server, storage, database, network, um, and analytics. All of these services is being delivered to you over an internet. So this is what the cloud is. It's same like you're ordering a food from outside. The food is delivered to your doorsteps. So you pay for the For the convenience, you pay for the service, you make use of it. So similarly, the cloud, everything is provided to you over an internet. As long as you have a system where you have an access to internet, you will have a lot of possibilities to connect to any of these servers computing, and you can start working on it. And one best solution for cloud, which they always try to highlight, is it is more of pay as you go cloud service. You don't have to really pay for just owning the system. Like what happens in the application, your infrastructure is you own, you pay upfront, like you own your system. If it is not being used, it is just sitting idle. Whereas in cloud, you can just pay for whatever your usage is. Normally, AWS and other services go and make you pay for hourly rates. These days, we have seen Google coming up with as minute as billing you for each second. So that's going to be a lot of money saving for the time you're not been using it. So that's being said, let's just quickly look into the benefits we can get from cloud. So why exactly do we need cloud? What it is giving us a benefit for? So the very first thing is definitely a cost benefit. As we were highlighting, more than capital expenditure, it will be more than your pay as you go. So your cost solely depends on how much hardware and software you've been using it at that point. And the day and time you don't have to use it, then you're not paying anything for it. The second advantage benefit is about the speed. So unlike traditional networks, the speed in cloud can be really really fast. So you have an option to uh, upgrade or request for a speed which you would like. So the spinning up of a network and settings all happen real time within a couple of minutes. So the speed of getting this for speed of getting all the services is really high. So that's one of the biggest benefits. And also security. So unlike the traditional on-prem services, when you're moving to cloud, they really have to ensure the policies and its policies are met, the patch, the antivirus or firewall securities. So all of this, there are fixed policies. It is very highly governed, and it is very highly followed by the cloud computing providers. So security is something they take it very seriously, and they make sure it is completely secure. And cloud computing is something you can be more reliable. You do have an option of taking a data backup. You can also go ahead and do a disaster recovery scenario where you can deploy your solution into multiple data centers. So if something goes down, one of the server goes down, the other server is always available. So you can be it is more reliable. So once you deploy in cloud, definitely you will have a very much high availability. So your application can keep running in cloud. The other advantage is performance. So once you're running in cloud, you always have an option to scale, and the data centers are available across network, and it is much more efficient. The performance-wise, the latency-wise, it's really high compared to any on-prem services. Let's also talk about productivity as the one of the benefits. So, since you're not dealing with software patching or setting up or taking care of any hardware infrastructure, you're not consuming a lot of time. So, you are saving time for your IT team, and also that is translating more into having much more productive environment for you. It also has an ability to scale globally. That being said, cloud providers are very vastly spread across the world, be it Northeast, US, Europe, North America, Africa. So, pretty much across the globe, they have presence. So, if you want to have a very specific scenario where the load is coming from certain region, so you can always do the scaling. You can always have an opportunity. It's just a couple of buttons click away from enabling it. So we'll definitely have a lot of flexibility when it comes to global scaling. So these are all like very high level benefits of cloud, and there are a couple of types of cloud. So now that we know what cloud is and what it is helpful for, so let's also talk about the types of cloud computing we have. So mainly there are three types. One is public, second one is private, and the mix of that is a hybrid. So let's take one by one. So what is a public cloud? So now that you know, you can have your operations all running at the same time. So public cloud is something like you're sharing your space, you're sharing your resources among others. Think about it more like taking a bus. So you know you have to travel from point A to point B. What are the ways you can travel? If you travel in a bus, definitely you'll have other co-passengers, but the amount or the price you pay for that is very less. So public cloud is similar to that. It's a one big infrastructure where multiple tenants are hosted, and then you are paying only for your portion, and usually it is very less compared to other type of cloud services. The second one is private cloud. Here, what happens is you are not really sharing your space with anyone else. You have your own infrastructure, but you are leveraging the cloud concept, computing concept within your application or within your company itself. So you're not really going outside world and sharing any space. It's more like owning your own car. So you will have always the flexibility to use it to go anywhere you want, however you want. So there is no fixed path. So private cloud is more of that sort, and you will have a little bit much higher price you will be paying for it. So there is a mix of these two, which is the best. The companies like banking or healthcare, they have a lot of data dependencies. They have a lot of data sensitive data in their system, so they really do not want to move to cloud where it is public. So that's when they usually go for a hybrid. Whenever they have a sensitive data, they try to keep it on prem, and but still they leverage the cloud computing. And when they have to share the data to outside world, which is not really sensitive, then they take care of public cloud. So it can coexist. Hybrid model is something majority of the major MNCs adapt. It is, if you want to compare it, it's more like taking a taxi. So you pay for the time you spend and the luxury you spend in the taxi, but again, you're not owning it. So that's what you can compare that for. So let's also look into type of cloud services, which is really important. So there are multiple cloud services types. So first, let's understand what on-prem services are. What are the thing you will be managing when you have your own infrastructure. So be it application, data, runtime, middleware, operating, virtual server, networking. So all these layers will be managed by your own company or your own project. So whatever happens here is completely your responsible, be it maintenance or scaling of that, or even applying a patch, or be it availability, anything. On-prem is something where you are completely taking control of everything and managing it. So one step ahead, it called as IaaS, that's infrastructure as a service. So this is where the cloud provider will be giving you virtualization, server storage, and networking. um, Cloud provider will be taking care of this, so you don't have to really worry about where these, like how the servers are set up, whether the servers are maintained, the patches are installed properly or not, where the storage stays, how the data is stored, even in the networking side. So how the networking is happening, how the data is getting transferred, the traffic is getting transferred. So all this information setup will be taken care by the cloud provider. So, but you will be still be responsible for the remaining components like operating system, middleware, runtime data, and application. So you will get a blank space where you can pretty much go and install what you need from scratch, and however you would like to do your application, develop it. Beyond that, you can do it. So this is obviously a lesser cost compared to the other services. The next set of services you can buy in is PaaS, that is platform as a service. Here, your provider will also take care of operating system, middleware, and runtime. So the only two components you'll be taking care is data and application. So let's imagine you already have a need for a database like Oracle database or a SQL database, and you spin up or you ask your cloud provider to give you the SQL database. So that means the SQL database as is as a product is given to you. whatever happens in SQL database, be it patch installations or maintenance, upgrading that to the latest version, everything is done by your cloud provider. Only the data which goes inside and how you build the application, customize it, is something you will be handling from your side. And at last, we have SaaS, that is software as a service. So here, completely from end to end, everything is taken care by your cloud provider. So you will not even be touching anything. So that's more like a product. It's done and given to you. You just have to use it for your advantage. So these are all the major types of cloud services. So based on your need, you will have to choose which one are best suitable for you. So let's move on to the next slide. So now that we have talked about cloud services providers, who are all the top cloud service providers today? If you have to look into the top 10 cloud providers, AWS is leading, one of the pioneers who created cloud services and got really famous. After that, we have Azure and Google Cloud. So these three are sort of a big players, and we do have presence from plenty of other players. You can see Salesforce, Alibaba, Adobe, Dell, IBM, Snowflake. There are many companies who are providing cloud services today, but those are comparatively at the very lower portion. But AWS Azure Cloud is one of the best and the biggest providers we have. If you want to, if you're wondering how much market shares they command currently, how much their presence is. So based on the survey which happened last year, quarter 2021, so this is the market share these companies have. So AWS has been always a leader. It is pretty much providing 33% in the market. Azure has really catched up very well. It is around 20%. Google also has increased over a time, so it's about 10% now. So you can see beyond this, everything is either 6% or below. So this is what the statistics looks like quarter four of 2021. So let's also talk about the comparison. So now that you have talked about cloud, different major players, uh, hey, can you guys go on mute, please? Yeah, thank you. So let's just talk about the cloud comparison. So we did talk about three biggest players. So be it Azure, AWS, or cloud, they pretty much have the list of services, which is very similar to each other, but they call it with a different name. So my suggestion is if you go through and get certified or understand one of the cloud providers, so you know the each components, how they are built up, you pretty much have a similar thing available in the different cloud providers. So this sheet will provide you or give you a high level names of what are these different components called across. So, be it at the compute level or network level or analytic level, you have this similar services, but with a slight different name from the cloud comparisons. So, so that's being said, let's move on to see what cloud platform really looks like. So, just a glimpse. If you go and log into Azure, this is what it looks like in the products page. So let's quickly go ahead and open that. Okay. So once you go to Azure, and this is the page you would see, you can create your own account. The account is you can create it for free. You don't have to uh, pay anything initially. So you can just set up an account. So as you can see, this you will be greeted with a lot of information, and once you log in, you will be able to see much more product related information there. So from here, you can explore multiple areas, but let's just go to the products. So these are all the products Azure provides you, and you have more than 200 products available. So there is plenty of combinations you can plug and play with. So basically, most popular one are obviously virtual machines and Cosmos database. You have a Kubernetes services, which is very famous these days, and also Azure Functions. So you have any specific product which you want to need, you can search for it. You will get a related product information here. And you can also go by the specific subsets, like you can select a database, you will see what are all the services Azure is providing to you currently. So as you can see, there is a lot more information here. So since it's an introduction class, so we're just showing you the options you can go and play around with. Do check out DevOps. It's one of the very important pipeline building. You can do a lot of activities from here. Security and storage. So these are all the areas you can go and play around. You can create your own account, and you will have access to all of this information. So once you go and create your account, you would see that currently Azure is providing you with some free services. Um, so there are many popular services within Azure, which they are providing free of cost for first 1 year. So as soon as you register, you will be eligible for it. And there are some 40 plus services currently, which they have made it free, irrespective of whether you are a paid member or a free member. You can always have access to this. And with your account, you also get $200 credit, and within 1 month you can use it. So that's still good enough amount if you want to spin up a virtual machine and do a couple of setup and storage. You will be able to utilize this amount free of cost, and within 1 month you can use that for your advantage and learning. If you really want to know a little bit more about what are all the services are provided, you can see here, these are all the services which talks about 12 months of free services. If you take Azure SQL database, so you will get the 250 GB instance database for free. And if you want to spin up a virtual machine, you can see 750 hours of virtual machine you can spin up without giving you any cost. So you can also go to the free services list. These are all the free services they were talking about. They keep adding to the list. They are altering to the list, but you can see these are all the services from Azure, which is free for you to use if you would like to. You don't have to really pay for all these services. If you want to utilize your account, you have to give your credit card information just for the backup, but you won't be charged until and unless you are really using a service which you shouldn't. So you can go ahead and set up your account, give the credit card information, and you can utilize it. So one other important aspect I would like to mention is Azure normally does some trainings that is called virtual training days. So what you can do is you can go yourself and search for the available trainings you have. And if you're interested in one of the training areas, you can select, and also the language, it will list for you. There are many training where they provide virtual training days, which will be for a day or two or beyond. You can attend one, you will get a good training material. They will help you, guide you with a good information. And second thing is, you will also have an option to appear for an exam without paying any fee. So in one of the, I just try to click on one of the available trainings. This is for Azure Fundamentals specifically. You can see the next session, which is available in US, is happening uh, Thursday of May 26th and 27th. It's like a 2.5 hour sessions, and it has been specifically mentioned that they will give you a certification coupon. So once you register from your account and appear for this exam, and appear for this training, your account within 24 to 36 hours will be credited with a coupon. You can just claim it and schedule your exam. So this is one really good option Azure is providing at this moment. So I would encourage you all to take advantage of it. Yeah, that's being said. So basically, these are all the areas in the introduction session I wanted to cover. So major takeaways for you would be to understand the what cloud is, why we need cloud, and I would suggest pick one of the service providers, be it Google, Azure, Microsoft, or AWS, and start your learning journey. And I also have the software technology trends group. Feel free to join there, and you can post your questions you may have it in that. So I will be sharing maybe this recording of the video and the materials there. You can always have access to download this. We are planning to do one more webinar next on emerging technology. That will be on June 28th. I would encourage you to register for it. So I look forward to see you there. And thanks a lot for your time. I hope this overview introduction session was helpful. I'm looking forward for your feedback. And yeah, thanks. Take care.